All right, so are you ready to like totally rethink how we even think about accounting in like the age of AI?
Bring it on.
Okay, cool. Because today's deep dive is all about this thing called the Sparks and Spaces framework.
Interesting.
And honestly, when I first heard the name, I was like, is this like a trendy new co-working space? Not some accounting revolution?
Yeah, it does sound a bit more Silicon Valley than Wall Street, doesn't it?
Totally.
But honestly, the name, it really does kind of reflect like a pretty radical idea.
Yeah.
It's that to really succeed in finance today, you need like a spark of technical brilliance.
Okay.
But you also need that ability to navigate like the human spaces, where those numbers actually like come to life.
Exactly. And to like walk us through all this is a handout by Garrett Wozni.
Okay.
Now, this guy's an AI consultant, but he's not just talking the talk. He's like worked with these giants like Price Waterhouse.
Wow.
Written books on this stuff, and even designed AI apps specifically for accountants.
So he's been in the trenches.
Totally. So he's definitely like seen the future of this whole field.
Yeah, and what I find impressive is that Wozni, like, he doesn't shy away from the big picture. He brings in all this stuff like psychology, ethics.
Really?
Even cultural anthropology. It's like he's saying if AI is going to like transform finance, we better really understand the human side of the equation too.
That's super interesting. So let's break down this Sparks and Spaces framework. It's built on these two pillars, right?
Yeah.
Sparks for the technical skills and then Spaces for the human side, which is already like pretty unusual in accounting, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Traditionally, accounting has been all about, precision, rules, the hard skills.
Yeah, for sure.
But Wozni is arguing that in a world like increasingly driven by AI,
Right.
It's those human soft skills, things like judgment, empathy, even ethical decision-making that become like the differentiator.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the really cool part is how these two sides are linked.
Yeah.
It's not Sparks versus Spaces, it's Sparks and Spaces.
Right.
That ampersand, that amperis, is deliberate, right?
Yeah, it's the bridge. It's where data becomes wisdom. I mean, think about it. AI can crunch numbers at like speeds we can't even fathom.
Yeah, that's true.
But it takes human insight to interpret those numbers, to understand their context, and to actually make wise decisions based on them.
Okay, so we've got these two pillars, but then it gets even more granular. Wozni breaks the framework down into 12 dimensions.
Whoa. Yeah.
12. Each representing like a key area accountants need to master. I'm not going to list them all now, but we're talking about everything from skill stack evolution to AI guardianship to sustainability and ethics.
The breadth of this thing is pretty mind-boggling.
It really is.
It really does kind of reflect how much the role of like an accountant is transforming these days. It's no longer enough to just be like a number cruncher. You need to be a strategic thinker, tech-savvy expert, an ethical leader. Oh, and a skilled communicator. All rolled into one.
Okay, so let's dive into some of these dimensions. We'll go through each one.
Okay, sounds good.
Not just like what it means, but like why it matters. And maybe even how it could apply to, your own work, you listening out there.
That's a great idea.
So first up is skill stack evolution. Basically, this means accountants need to be like constantly learning, always like evolving their skills.
Right. It's not just about like keeping up with the latest tax laws. It's about acquiring entirely new skill sets.
Exactly.
I mean, think about it. In the past, an accountant who could just master Excel was a rock star.
Yeah, that's true.
But now we're talking about accountants who can code, who understand data analytics, who can even delve into psychology to understand how people actually make financial decisions.
That's wild. The handout actually gives a really cool example. Imagine an accountant who learns to code.
Okay.
And automates all those like tedious, repetitive tasks, like that data entry or reconciliation. Suddenly, they've freed up tons of time for higher level analysis, for strategic thinking, for actually advising clients on how to grow their businesses.
Right, and that's the key. It's not just about learning new skills for the sake of it. It's about how those skills can like transform your role, make you more valuable, and ultimately help you deliver better results.
I love that.
Yeah.
So as you listen, think about your own field. What skills are becoming like increasingly important, even if they weren't on your radar a few years ago?
Yeah, good question.
Okay, moving on to the next S in Sparks, we've got systems. This one's all about breaking down silos and fostering collaboration between different departments.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because Wozni isn't just talking about accountants talking to other accountants.
Okay.
He's talking about accountants working with marketing teams, with tech developers, even with psychologists.
What?
To really get a holistic view of the business.
That's really interesting. So, like, for example, imagine an accountant working with a marketing team to, like, develop a new product launch campaign.
Yeah.
The accountant can help analyze the financial feasibility, sure, but they can also bring in data about consumer behavior, market trends, and even psychological insights to create a campaign that's both financially sound and resonates with customers.
Right. Talk about a power combo.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that in like today's really complex business environment, the challenges we face, they rarely fit neatly into one department or discipline.
Yeah, that's true.
Solutions require collaboration, drawing on expertise from multiple fields, and that's where the modern accountant can really shine.
I love that. All right, let's move on to P, which stands for psychology.
Yeah.
Now, this one might seem a bit out there for accounting, but Wozni makes a really compelling case that understanding human psychology, particularly behavioral economics, is becoming crucial.
Yeah, we like to think that we're all like rational beings, especially when it comes to money.
Right.
But the reality is we're heavily influenced by emotions, by biases, and all these mental shortcuts, even when making like big financial decisions.
Yeah, for sure. The handout actually gives a great example of this. It talks about confirmation bias.
Oh, yeah.
This is where people tend to seek out and favor information that confirms their existing beliefs, even if that information is flawed or incomplete. It happens all the time, even with experienced investors.
Right. And for an accountant, recognizing these biases, both in themselves and in their clients, can be incredibly valuable. It allows them to provide more objective advice, to challenge assumptions, and to help clients make decisions that are truly in their best interest, not just based on like gut feeling or what they want to believe.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
So think about your own experiences. Have you ever seen a financial decision get like totally derailed by emotions? Maybe someone invested in a risky venture based on pure hype, or refused to sell a losing stock because they were too attached to it. This dimension acknowledges that human psychology is like a powerful force in finance, and we just can't ignore it.
It's so true. Yeah, it's fascinating how even in a field like accounting where numbers are king, the human element can't be ignored.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. We've got A, and this one does double Dewey in this framework.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it stands for AI guardianship on the Sparks side, and then adaptability in the spaces realm. So let's tackle AI guardianship first.
Okay, so this dimension is all about recognizing that as AI becomes more prevalent in finance, we really need to be incredibly thoughtful about how these systems are like designed, implemented, and monitored.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about efficiency, it's about ethics.
Yeah, it's like we're giving AI the keys to the financial kingdom, so we better make sure it's driving responsibly.
Exactly. We need to be thinking about things like algorithmic bias, data privacy, and making sure these AI systems aren't like making decisions that could harm individuals or even perpetuate existing inequalities.
Right, and Wozni even talks about something called AI input-output auditing, which sounds super high-tech, but basically it's a way to check that the data going to the AI is accurate and unbiased, and that the results coming out are reliable and fair.
Yeah, it's all about transparency and accountability. We can't just blindly trust these black boxes. You know, we need to understand how they work, what data they're using, and what potential biases might be like baked in.
It makes you think about all those sci-fi movies where the AI goes rogue.
Yeah.
Maybe AI guardianship is our way of making sure that doesn't happen in the real world, at least not in finance.
Yeah, let's hope so. Okay, now, on the spaces side of things, A also stands for adaptability, which is a pretty crucial skill in any field these days, but especially in finance, which is like constantly evolving.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just about keeping up with new technology. It's about being open to new ideas, new ways of doing things, and even new ways of thinking about the role of an accountant.
Right, and Wozni gives the example of predictive analysis, which is all about using big data and AI to anticipate future trends and advise clients proactively, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine an accountant who can tell their client, hey, based on the data, this is what your industry is likely to look like in 5 years, and here's how we can position your business to thrive. That's powerful stuff.
That's like having a crystal ball, but powered by data instead of magic.
Right.
And it shows how being adaptable can actually give you a strategic advantage, helping you stay ahead of the curve and anticipate changes before they even happen.
Totally. It's about shifting from a reactive mindset to a proactive one, from simply keeping the books to actively shaping the financial future.
I love that. Okay, on to R for regulatory compliance, which let's face it, is not the sexiest part of accounting.
You got that right.
But it is absolutely essential.
Oh, yeah. And it's getting increasingly complex, especially as businesses become more globalized. You've got different regulations, different tax laws, different reporting standards in every country, and it's a constantly shifting landscape.
It's like trying to navigate a maze where the walls keep moving.
Exactly, and that's why expertise in this area is so valuable. Accountants need to not only know the rules, but also understand the intent behind them, how they apply in different contexts, and how to help their clients stay compliant without stifling their growth.
Right, okay, next up is K for knowledge. But this isn't just about knowing your debits from your credits. Woisney's talking about a much broader kind of knowledge here, focusing on cultural sensitivity and global adaptability.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that in today's interconnected world, accountants need to be able to work effectively with people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and perspectives.
Absolutely. So think about it. If you're advising a client who's doing business in China, you need to understand the cultural nuances, the business etiquette, even the unspoken rules of the game. What works in one culture might completely backfire in another.
For sure, it's about being able to adapt your communication style, your approach to problem solving, and even your understanding of what constitutes success.
And this isn't just about being respectful or avoiding faux pas. It's about building trust and rapport with clients from all over the world. It's about showing them that you understand their unique challenges and that you're committed to helping them succeed on their own terms.
It's about recognizing that in today's global marketplace, cultural intelligence is no longer optional. It's a necessity.
Okay, we're making good progress here. We've covered 6 of the 12 dimensions. How are you feeling so far? Is this starting to paint a picture of what the future of accounting might look like?
Absolutely. It's fascinating to see how Woisney is weaving together these seemingly disparate elements, technical skills, human insights, ethical considerations, into a cohesive framework.
It's true, and I'm really starting to see how this Sparks and Spaces approach could, revolutionize the field. Are you ready to tackle the next 6?
Bring it on. Yeah, it really is accounting is finally kind of catching up to the complexities of the real world where numbers are just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. Okay, now that we've unpacked those 12 dimensions, let's zoom out a bit. Woisney also dives into these 7 groups of integrated disciplines that kind of underpin this framework.
Yeah.
You can think of them as different lenses through which you can view the whole Sparks and Spaces approach.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about these groups is that they show how those 12 dimensions can work together in practice, kind of like different recipes using the same ingredients.
Oh, I like that.
It helps you connect the dots and see how this framework could actually play out, in the real world.
That makes sense. All right, let's walk through these groups one by one. First up is interdisciplinary integration, which sounds very academic, but it's a really cool concept. It's all about breaking down those silos between different fields, bringing in insights from psychology, sociology, maybe even neuroscience, who knew accounting could be so multidisciplinary.
Yeah, it's a recognition that the challenges we face in finance, especially in a world increasingly shaped by AI, are rarely confined to just one discipline.
Yeah.
Understanding human behavior, organizational dynamics, even the way the brain processes information, all of that can give accountants a much richer understanding of the problems they're trying to solve.
So it's not just about the numbers anymore. It's about understanding the human systems, the social systems, the psychological systems that those numbers are embedded in.
Absolutely. And that leads us to the second group, balanced analysis. And this emphasizes using both quantitative and qualitative data to get a more complete picture. It's not just about crunching numbers, it's about understanding the story behind those numbers.
Right, because numbers can tell you what's happening, but they don't always tell you why it's happening.
Right.
That's where those softer skills like emotional intelligence, cultural awareness, even intuition come into play.
Exactly. You need both the hard data and the human insights to make truly informed decisions. It's like having a detective who can analyze fingerprints, A&D, read body language. They're going to be a much more effective investigator.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, group number 3 is global adaptability, which is all about navigating the complexities of the international business world. We touched on this a little bit with the knowledge dimension, but this group really dives into the nitty-gritty of working across cultures and borders.
It's true. I mean, think about it. You might be dealing with clients who have different accounting standards, different tax laws, different cultural norms, different expectations. It's a whole different ballgame.
It's like you need a passport for every aspect of the business. A financial passport, a cultural passport, a legal passport, and you have to know how to use them all effectively.
Exactly. And that's why global adaptability is such a crucial skill set for the modern accountant. It's not just about knowing the rules. It's about being able to adapt, to think on your feet, to build relationships with people from all over the world.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, next up is future-ready components, which sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But really, it's just about embracing new technologies and anticipating future trends. We're talking AI, blockchain, sustainable practices, real-time, reporting all those tools and techniques that are shaping the future of finance.
Right. And this group highlights the importance of continuous learning and staying ahead of the curve. The accounting profession is not standing still, it's constantly evolving, and those who are willing to embrace new technologies and ideas will be the ones who thrive.
It's almost like accountants need to become futurists, constantly scanning the horizon for the next big thing and figuring out how to leverage it for their clients.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not reactive, anticipating changes before they happen, and being ready to adapt and evolve as the landscape shifts.
Okay, group number 5 is human-centric elements, which really brings us back to the heart of the Sparks and Spaces framework. It's a reminder that accounting is ultimately about people, about understanding their needs, building trust, and creating solutions that work for everyone.
It really is. This group emphasizes those essential soft skills we've been talking about: stakeholder engagement, emotional intelligence, cultural competency, relationship building. These are the skills that allow accountants to connect with clients on a human level, to understand their motivations, and to build lasting partnerships.
It's about moving beyond the transactional and into the realm of the truly transformative, where accounting becomes a force for positive change, not just a way to balance the books.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the power of human connection and how that can drive better business outcomes.
Okay, now for something that sounds a little mind-bending, group number 6 is cognitive enhancement. And this is about using technology to augment human intelligence, to help us think better, faster, more creatively.
I love that idea. So think about AI-powered decision support systems, behavioral pattern recognition tools, maybe even neural pattern analysis to understand how people make financial decisions on like a subconscious level.
It's almost like giving accountants superpowers.
Yeah.
But really, it's about recognizing that technology can be this powerful tool for expanding our cognitive abilities, for helping us see patterns we might otherwise miss, for making smarter decisions based on better data and deeper insights.
Yeah, it's all about that synergy between human and artificial intelligence, how we can leverage the strengths of each to achieve something truly remarkable.
And finally, group number 7 is sustainable innovation, which is all about integrating environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, factors into financial decision-making. It's about recognizing that financial success should not come at the expense of the planet or society as a whole.
Totally. It's about creating a more sustainable and equitable future, and accountants have a key role to play in that transition by measuring and reporting on ESG factors. They can help businesses make more responsible decisions that benefit all stakeholders, not just the bottom line.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today. From the 12 dimensions to these 7 groups, integrated disciplines, this Sparks and Spaces framework is so comprehensive and forward-thinking, it really does feel like a blueprint for the future of accounting.
It is, and it's definitely a call to action for accountants to step up, to embrace these new skills and perspectives, and to become leaders in shaping a more sustainable, equitable, and human-centered financial system.
Now, Wasney is very clear that this framework is just version 1.0. It's meant to be a living document, constantly evolving and adapting to the changing landscape of finance. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a question. What role do you see yourself playing in shaping the future of accounting? What excites you about the possibilities, and what challenges do you anticipate? This is a conversation that's just beginning, and we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.